people have said good things about Obama for killing Osama bin Laden. No one is praising us for having got rid of Osama bin Laden was at the time of his death, if he died on that particular day, if he was killed on that, the number one, the world's most ruthless terrorist on earth, the world. How did he earn that title? Courtesy the Sri Lankan fighting forces. Until Prabhakaran was alive, while Prabhakaran was alive, he was number one. It was only after he died that Osama bin Laden became number one. We have done our part. The rest of the world, I don't know whether America will take any cue from us. Maybe we are too small for them to, they feel shy to do that. But a lot of people will take our example as our victory as a good example of how to get things done. So instead of learning the lessons that can be learned from our experience, they are vilifying us. So one wonders how genuine their commitment is to this so-called war on global terror.
Well, when we look at the recommendation made by the panel, they have come up with almost 4 recommendations. In the number 1, they talk about investigations. They call for initiating an effective domestic accountability process, and also calls on the Secretary General that he should immediately proceed to establish an independent international mechanism. One can describe this recommendation as a direct influence or direct impact on the sovereignty of a country. How do you look at that?
Yes. Now, first of all, if a set of crooks tell me, you've got some problems in your community. I heard that there are some bandits. You need to have some mechanism to solve that, and I can help you. Then I'm going to say, I will tell him where he should get off. That is one aspect of it. It is not that we don't have a mechanism. We may not have the world's best mechanism for reconciliation, investigations, but we don't have the worst either. We have a judicial system, our Supreme Court and the whole that structure has not disgraced itself, as Mr. Govindas said recently. We have the LLRC, which is still sitting. I mean, that initiation happened long time ago. But if there are errors, if there are flaws in our institutional arrangement, the call for correction should come from here, not from somewhere else, and certainly not from people who we have not elected, and who listen to people who have been against the state of Sri Lanka and the people of Sri Lanka, not on their recommendations, on our recommendations as citizens. So we don't have the perfect democracy, but we have enough democratic space for us to express our political will. If we find something wrong, we can say this is wrong, and we can mobilize whatever forces we can to insist that these corrections that we demand are actually addressed. Those problems are addressed. So the issue about telling us, that is definitely an infringement on our sovereignty.
However, Malinda, we cannot just throw this document away, or we can't say that we will not just dispense with this document. We are not concerned about it. There is definitely learning for us. In your opinion, what is the learning for us as a nation?
Learning for us is relearning of how the global political economy operates. Right? It's a relearning. We've had this for 500 years, and this is not the first time that they have twisted our arms. They used the GSP plus. The GSP plus, for example, was used as an instrument to coerce, right? This is against the mandate of the GH. I mean, there's no provision for that kind of thing, to use it as an instrument of exacting revenge, because their preferred outcome didn't materialize. So that's a lesson that we need to learn. We have to be vigilant always, and we have to understand that some of these things, when they say you don't have your own independent or reliable or effective mechanism to do this or that, part of that could be true. We are not perfect, but that we have to understand that if we got our house in order, in better shape than it is, it's not crumbling or anything. That's one way of countering this. But we have to go line by line, not only because this is a report that has been thrown at us, but because these arguments will be used again and again and again and again until they are sick and tired of it and they are exhausted by the process. And the only way we can counter that is by being united, by being honest, by showing humility, in acknowledging our own errors, not because some idiot tells us, but because we see it. That is how we can respond. That is the lesson that we need to learn from these things.
Well, finally, if one reads or goes through the pages of this so long report, one will find out that this report tries to set in a certain tone among the Sri Lankans. It tries to create a certain element of division among the Sri Lankans. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, well, this comment about polarization and division comes from the conflating the UN of the LTT and the Tamil community. They are the people who say that this is Sinhala versus Tamil. Sinhala versus Tamil. How many Tamil people were killed by the LTT? You know? And the Sri Lanka.
They killed more Tamils than they killed Sinhalese.
Yes, and if it's the Sinhalese were against Tamil, why should the Sinhala army so called and Sinhala Buddhist state so called in 1988-89 kill 60,000 Sinhala Buddhists unarmed, right? So these categories, you know, totalizing this sweeping statements are utterly ridiculous. So the truth is that no citizen in Sri Lanka, unless he or she is utterly corrupt, you know, intellectually, morally dishonest, will say today that situation in before May 2009 was better than it is now. No citizen will say that they are unhappy that the LTT is no longer there. No citizen will say that they preferred if terrorism, you know, bombs are exploding. All that is gone. All that is gone. There are scars, there are wounds which need to be healed naturally. If you fight a war for 30 years, you can't fight a war with where no one gets killed, no one gets wounded, no one loses anyone else. But that division, there is the malintent in this to create divisions where divisions do not exist, or to make bigger whatever suspicions that there are, and exacerbate them. That we need to keep in mind.
Well, this document, as Malinda explained very vividly, tries to create a division. It was a war on terror. It was a war which was fought between the Sri Lankans, which comprised of Sinhalese, Tamils, Hindus, Christians, or whoever, who is a Sri Lankan, and against a ruthless terrorist group. However, like Malinda explained to us, like he reiterated, that we have to be vigilant. We can't just through this document. There will be a relearning for us on how the world works when it comes to when one is doing well, and when one is trying to rise from the ashes, and when one nation is try to be united and progress in its economic front. We hope to discuss this on this report in the next few weeks as well. Thank you very much, Malinda, for joining us, and thank you very much, friends who are joining us from home, and hope to meet you next Wednesday at the same time. Good night to you.